Buenos dias, mi gente. What's good, everybody, man? Welcome back to another walkthrough of the Outer Worlds on this new year, man. We're gonna be over here exploring Phineas Labs. I think that's where we last left off. See how he's working with that last scientist, man. Let's get it popping. Actually, I think I wanted to check terminal. We got any messages? Oh shit, take a hit of the bomb real quick, the vape. Alright.
Please avoid damaging yourself or...
Ooh, we're gonna take with... Oh, I already got these foods selected. Alright. See how Phineas is doing.
All I need now is the dimethyl sulfoxide. I'll take as much as you can give me.
Forget about the chemicals for a second. The colony's on the verge of collapse.
What? Oh, yes, well, that's obvious. Anyone with two working labs can see this colony's slouching toward oblivion. Why do you think we've been doing all this? I revived you to help me save Halcyon from annihilation.
Because worse, the chairman's planning on freezing every worker in Halcyon.
Hold on. Let me see if I understand this correctly. You're saying that Halcyon's on the brink of total collapse, and the chairman's plan to save all of us is to save himself? I always knew Halcyon was heading toward a systems collapse, but I never imagined we were already there. The board made this crisis, and now they want to solve it by freezing the rest of us? That's not a plan. That's a goddamn escape clause. That makes two things we don't have: time and chemicals to revive the other settlers. None of this was supposed to happen. I was supposed to revive the Hope's colonists. We were supposed to have enough time to solve the problem before we all starved.
Jeez, well, I found your chemicals, man. In the ministry, the board's testing them on human subjects.
Human test subjects? Oh, that's grotesque. That's unthinkable. That's exactly what I'd expect out of the board.
Alright, well, these are all the chemicals I could get, man. Any more, I would have killed the subjects.
Damn, that's not enough. Not nearly enough for the whole ship. I could revive a handful of settlers. Maybe, possibly, 10. We're out of time. We're out of chemicals. We may very well be out of options. If the board has their way, we're all going to be spending the rest of our lives frozen in stasis. Do you realize what this means for the Hope? For your fellow colonists? The board's going to kill them all, toss them out into space, just to make room in their hibernation chambers.
When you think about this, there has to be something we can do, man.
Short of lining up every member of the board and shooting them in the back of the head. Do you know what's waiting for us on the Hope? Scientists, engineers, artists, the brightest minds Earth ever sent us, uncorrupted by the board. The board's going to dispose of them all and transform the Hope into a prison for the rest of us. They're likely on their way to the Hope as we speak. We need to get to those colonists before the board. I have enough chemicals to start reviving a few of them, but no easy way to get them off the Hope.
There's a way. It's not exactly safe, but we can skip the Hope into the system.
Merciful gibbering law, you're a genius! We bring the Hope to us, skip the entire ship across the distance of colony space, right next to my lab.
The Hope's probably damaged. We'll have to route power from the unreliable.
Yes, exactly. You're a step ahead of me, but I perceive the shape of your plan. If we link up the Hope to the unreliable, then use your navigational computer to calculate a reasonably safe vector, we can skip the entire colony ship into the rings of Terra 2.
I've got a healthy disregard for personal safety, but this sounds crazy, even to me.
Your instincts are correct. By any reasonable definition of sanity, this plan is crazy. Isn't it wonderful?
I don't understand a word you said, Doc. All I know is, if we're gonna hijack a colony ship, count me in.
Yes, excellent. I approve of your enthusiasm, young man. You should ask your captain for a raise. You'll need to switch on the Hope's auxiliary power using the unreliable. Then head to the bridge. Your navigational computer, Ada, should be able to activate the Hope's skip drive. Once you've skipped the Hope next to my lab, I'll have easy access to the frozen colonists. I can start reviving them immediately.
I'll do it. Wait, I got some questions though.
Certainly. How can I help?
People aren't going to notice a gigantic colony ship slamming into the rings of Terra 2?
Unlikely. The Hope is as massive as the Groundbreaker, but compared to the rings of Terra 2, positively minuscule. The board might notice, possibly, depending on the position of their heads relative to the depth of their collective posteriors.
Just so we're clear, you know skip drives aren't supposed to be used like this.
Skip drives were never designed to be used within a system, but I skipped my ship across Halcyon when I rescued you, and that turned out fine, mostly. That is, I ruined my ship and nearly killed myself in the process, but the maneuver was well within acceptable margins of risk. You'll be fine. You'll be fine.
Should I expect any resistance?
It wouldn't surprise me. When I pulled you out of the Hope, the board nearly intercepted me. I expect they stepped up security since my little act of larceny.
No more questions, I'm ready.
I know you're wondering why I'm doing all this. Why I believe the people on the Hope are the answer to the colony's problems. The Hope is carrying some of humanity's most brilliant thinkers. Scientists, engineers, experts in their field. If we work together, we can still find a way to save Halcyon. The board would have us believe Halcyon is beyond saving. I choose to believe otherwise. If there's even the slightest chance we can save Halcyon from oblivion, then we have to take it. Certainly. How can I help?
Okay, we got to level 30 finally. What should I get? I'm like so used to the controls always being messed up because I'm always changing them. Did we lose any? What's our reputation that we lost? Friendly. Oh, are we getting close to the end here? Dun dun dun.
Impeccable timing, Captain. I was about to watch the latest episode in Halcyon Helen's thrilling serial adventure.
I think we just unlocked. Oh yeah, murder. It has a new etherwave drama ready to watch. Where do we watch this at?
Welcome. How can I be of assistance?
You mentioned an etherwave drama. I'd like to see it.
Certainly, Captain. I was hoping you would ask.
It was the law-forsaken parasites. I had become obsessed. My quest to stop them. To avenge my partner, Philip. And my ex-partner, Bernice. And Lieutenant Jurgen. And those two informants had brought me to Rizzo's distillery. But it wasn't just the triple distilled deliciousness of Rizzo's Spectrum brand vodka that I found there. It was death. I made sure the Brain Eaters paid the price. But at what cost to me? It's you.
This is the Halcyon News Network with breaking news. Halcyon Helen has been murdered. Administrator Ludovico of Rizzo's refused to answer the big question on everyone's mind. Who will Spectrum Vodka's next spokesperson be? Claiming that a special investigation must be concluded first.
Captain, we have a communication coming in from one Administrator Ludovico.
Get off the transmission, Cedric. We agreed to let me do the negotiating. Law be with you, friend. I am Administrator Ludovico of the famed Eridanos Atmospheric Complex. But there's no need to stand on formality. You may address me as Mr.
How about I just call you Lou?
How about not?
Okay, Lou.
I apologize if I've struck too familiar a tone for your tastes. Let me get right to the point. Halcyon Helen is dead. Murdered. Her death is the tragedy of our lifetime. As the face of our new product line, her murder is a stain on the Rizzo's brand. She was scheduled to unveil our newest product, Spectrum Brown, before this tragic event. But we cannot move forward with our unveiling until we apprehend the killer.
Who's Halcyon Helen?
You can't be serious. Halcyon Helen, greatest cultural icon of our colony, empress of the Aether Waves.
All right, Ludovico, that's enough. You don't know what you're doing. Let me handle this. Captain Hawthorne, I've been looking forward to meeting Adjutant Akonde's favorite gun. Cedric Kincannon, Sublight Underground. I'm so glad we're hiring a third-party investigator. No one wants to see a troop of UDL guards stomping all over my hotel, least of all me. The murder of Halcyon Helen is a heinous assault on this colony. I look forward to watching you find the miscreant responsible and drag them out of the shadows.
I'm having trouble seeing the death of a 2-bit actor as an assault on the colony. Let's just go with this one. I've never heard of Sublight Underground.
Don't worry. You and I are going to become very close acquaintances. I run the Grand Colonial Hotel and Perea Spaceport. Ludovico and I are business partners, in a manner of speaking. Eridanos is our shared responsibility.
Eridanos is not our shared responsibility. Eridanos is my responsibility, to which you and your organization have latched on like a parasite.
Ludovico, you wound me. I'm establishing rapport with our new contractor. Let's not give him the impression that you can't be trusted.
Do you really want to do this right now, Cedric? You want to antagonize me while I'm negotiating a contract. Because I promise you, I'll win.
Gentlemen, please, as far as I'm concerned, you're both idiots.
First sensible thing I've heard all day. My apologies, Mr. Ludovico. That was unprofessional of me. Captain, I'm Constable Maria Keene. Hiring a third-party investigator was my idea. I've been studying your dossier. You are Adjutant Akonde's most reliable freelancer. If the second most powerful person in Halcyon can depend on you, then I'd like to think we can depend on you. As far as I'm concerned, you're the ideal inspector for this case.
Inspector Mugen, I like the sound of that.
I'm pleased to hear that. The future of our complex may depend on your success. I'll leave you in the constable's care. Mr. Kincannon and I must have a word.
Fine. Bud Rizzo's is paying for that hotel room.
I can't tell you how grateful I am for your help. And even though they may not show their gratitude, I know Administrator Ludovico and Mr. Kincannon appreciate your involvement. Mr. Kincannon could lose his spaceport if board authorities took over the investigation, and if Rizzo's is forced to cancel its unveiling, we might never recover. I represent the law, Captain, but what's happening between Mr. Kincannon and the Administrator is politics. Politics are not my area of expertise. The law is simple. Politics are complicated. Me? Worn out? Perish the notion. My days are filled with catering to the oh-so-reasonable requests of Mr. Ludovico and Mr. Kincannon. What's not to like? Your words, not mine. Please don't take my lack of disagreement as anything other than fatigue. I am a content, productive, and happy member of our society. The Administrator oversees Rizzo's operations. Cedric runs the hotel and the spaceport. They're always at each other's throats. My life would be so much easier if they'd simply learn to work together. I'm pleased to hear that. From everything I've heard, you're a competent freelancer. And at the risk of sounding impertinent, we desperately need the help of someone competent. Thank you for your time, Captain. Whenever you're ready, I've authorized the Unreliable to land at the Grand Colonial.
Alright, I got everything I need.
Transmission terminated. Captain, we are now clear to land at the Aragonos atmospheric complex.
What can you tell me about Eridinos?
Eridanos is a hydrogen-helium gas giant, distinguished by a well-defined ring system. The Eridanos atmospheric complex is a system of land masses propelled through a thin layer of the upper atmosphere, where humans are potentially capable of surviving.
I don't know why they're trusting me to catch Halcyon Helen's killer.
There are several reasons why someone would hire your services. In descending order of likelihood, they are as follows: desperation, confusion, mistaken identity, inebriation, and genuine faith in your abilities.
Thanks, Ada. The last row of Halcyon. The hope is over here. Probably save that for later. How about we do that one? Or what about Monarch? I don't even remember where's the line.
Captain, I'm receiving an urgent docking request from another vessel.
Greetings from the Halcyon Parcel Service. Delivery is guaranteed within standard margins of certainty. I've got a special delivery for Alex Hawthorne of the Unreliable. With your permission, I'll see it transferred to your ship. It's a parcel, sir.
Are you sure it's not a package? No, I mean, what's the parcel?
A parcel is a shipment wrapped and prepared for delivery, sir.
I'm asking you what's inside this parcel.
Opening a customer's parcel is strictly against regulations. HPS's no peeking policy guarantees that your deliveries remain confidential and HPS remains free of any liability.
Alright, what if I don't want it?
I am contractually obligated to deliver my cargo to the captain of the Unreliable under pain of fines, imprisonment, and censure by my superiors.
Then why do you ask for my permission?
That's the HPS difference for you. Service with civility. Stand by, Captain Hawthorne. An HPS certified distribution technician has deposited the parcel into your cargo hold in accordance with hazardous waste disposal procedures.
They did what?
They dispense 3 complimentary spritzes of Anti-Cleo's Citrus Squirt Air Freshener. That's the HPS touch for you, Captain Hawthorne. On behalf of HPS, I'd like to remind you that HPS is not responsible for any damage, defacement, or unseemliness to your parcel. Thank you for your patience, and please remember HPS for all of your future parcel-related needs.
Captain, I hope Dr. Wells has not dragged you into one of his irrational schemes again. My diagnosis of his mental stability is not flattering.
Yeah, well. The fuck?
Hawthorne, if you're getting this, something's happening. Got mixed up in some shady business on Gorgon. Should've known better. But I landed on something big. And now this job's an itch I can't stop scratching. There's a whole research compound left of the Sprats. I think I'm close to figuring out why. But something dangerous is closer to me. Got the job through one Minnie Ambrose. Top runger who just came into some money and was offering a hefty bid card for qualified help. Trust me, her money's good. Talk to Minnie. Take the job. If I ain't gonna live to see the payday, might as well be you. Consider us even, old pal.
Well, that fellow certainly seemed trustworthy.
I've gotten jobs from some unusual sources, but this is a first. Congratulations, Captain.
I don't mean to sound prim, Captain, but there's gotta be a better way to ask someone to do you a favor.
I just want to say, we gotta take this job. This is the closest I ever been to starring in a serial drama. Only thing we're missing is a couple cameras and a soundtrack.
At least this won't be boring.
Ada, what the hell's going on?
Lucky Montoya owed Captain Hawthorne a considerable debt. I believe this is what humans refer to as payback. Captain, the message contains landing coordinates for a small asteroid in the Charybdis cluster. It was recently registered to a Wilhelmina Ambrose.
Are we going to talk about the severed arm on the kitchen table?
Now, I, for one, was hoping to do the exact opposite of that.
What? Do you want to shake its hand?
Yeah, can we talk about the arm? I want to take bets on how the guy lost it. My money's on cannibals.
That ain't really that fella's arm, right? It's gotta be a dummy. Or a toy?
Well, I'm not cleaning it up.
Cleanup service request processed. Disposal of human arm from the Unreliable's cargo hold will commence in the immediate future.
Simulating disgust. How distasteful. Humans eat there. I'm not touching it. Etc. Lucky Montoya had a statistically significant tendency to encounter situations of extreme danger.
Oh, really? I thought he lost his arm gambling.
He was also the 4th best paid freelancer in the system.
Only the 4th?
There are several hundred freelancers operating in Halcyon. Considering the numbers, Mr. Montoya ranked among the top percentile. This had less correlation with his measured aptitudes, which rank at or below average, than with a pattern of fortunate circumstances.
Any chance he's alive?
Based on the condition of the limb, I calculate a 92.7% chance that Mr. Montoya expired from his injuries.
So you're saying there's a chance?
There's what humans colloquially call a sprat's chance in a mantisaur's den. That is a very low chance, Captain. I have transferred the coordinates for Ambrose Manor to your navigation terminal. We can travel there when you are ready.
Can we talk?
Hawthorne, if you're getting this, something's happened to me. Got mixed up in some shady business on Gorgon. Should've known better. but I landed on something big. And now this job's an itch I can't stop scratching.
Sure. Right now, I'm feeling like a canid following a trail of treats. Like I'm being misled at best. At worst, walking into a trap. Keep those eyes open, Captain. Hey, Cap.
You know, they're gonna make a serial about our adventures one day. I've been trying to think of a good title for this episode. I like the sound of The Skip Job. No, wait, I got it. Hope in Dark Times. Get it? Hope? Like the ship. That's what folks in the business call wordplay.
Not bad, Felix. Our adventure series is gonna need a name too.
Yeah, I've been thinking about that. Got a list right here. Thrilling Tales of the Unreliable. Or maybe Spine-Chilling Stories from the Edge of the System. Was also considering Astounding Adventures in the Ether. I'm partial to that last one.
Felix, how about this one? Felix Adventures in Shutting Up and Doing As He's Told. I'm just go with this one. Our Further Adventures of Mugen and Company.
Not bad. Got a nice ring to it. Stealing the hope from the board, skipping it across the whole damn system. This is gonna be great. I can't wait.
I like your attitude, Felix.
Enough to boost my pay? I'm just kidding, boss. I know you don't pay me. I'm sure you've got plans to make. As for me, I gotta keep practicing my signature dropkick. The Hope might have cameras.
Alright. Actually, how about we do this one first? Travel to your Eridanos, then to Monarch, and then from Monarch all the way to the Hope. Do a lap.
We arrived at Ambrose Manor.
Jesus.
Good luck, Captain.
Welcome to Ambrose Manor. We were not expecting company. Please follow. Do not stray from the path.
Do not stray from the path. This thing sounds exactly like Max. You gotta admit, that was kind of funny.
Been there, little guy.
Unit can't help itself. Please do not be concerned.
Okay.
Wow, Ambrose Manor. Hey, you think it's haunted? I bet it's haunted.
Keep your guard up. Could be all manner of surprises in there. I take it back. Ain't nothing here but memories.
This place looks kind of sad. Like it's been waiting for someone to make a home out of it.
Is that you, Lucky? Huh? Apparently not. Oh, join me for a drink, Mr. Whoever you are. So who the devil are you? You certainly paint a picture, and I'm certainly intrigued. Do you see that glowing chunk of space rock? That's Gorgon. My birthright, my burden, and the bane of my existence. I hate to drink alone, and this is my third. So join me in raising a glass. To Gorgon.
Give a solemn toast.
To Gorgon. May cosmic winds shepherd her to the nearest star. I'm Wilhelmina Ambrose, but you can keep it short and call me Minnie.
Nice to meet you too. Wow.
Now, what brings you to my house, handsome? I take it you didn't come all this way for the beverages, the starry skies, or the pleasant company.
Just seeing the sights, roaming the colony, you know how it is.
Are you an honest-to-law vagabond? We don't see a lot of your type around here. Oh, we don't see a lot of anyone, in fact. No neighbors means no visitors. I'd give you the grand tour, but as you can see, the place is in shambles.
I think it looks nice, actually. Lots of character.
Maybe you don't see the dust. Maybe you don't smell the stench of failure. But it's there, believe me.
Take it you moved in recently?
In a manner of speaking. This is my family estate, but I've been living abroad, waiting for the previous tenant to expire. You're very inquisitive. Not that I mind. Out with it, then. You came here for a reason, and I'm dying to hear it.
Someone mailed me 5 digits and a palm. Body not included. Also some forearm.
How exciting! You make it sound like something out of a crime drama. She gave him her hand in murder. Or arm, in this case.
Does the name Lucky Montoya mean anything
Lucky
to you?
Montoya is my personal freelancer. Fascinating man. Very brooding and theatrical. Always staring into space and twirling a bullet over his knuckles.
I could do that. The staring into space part, I mean. I'm still working on the bullet twirling thing.
But if something happened to him... Oh dear. I suppose that makes him my former freelancer now?
Any idea who might want him killed?
You suspect foul play. Interesting. If we're being honest, I haven't given it much thought. What a time for his luck to run out. We were in the middle of something grand, and I really can't afford another setback.
His recording mentioned a high-stakes job.
Funny that you should bring that up. How would you like to be my new freelancer? There's been a recent vacancy, and I think you're well suited to the job.
I could get used to people offering us a job at first glance. Usually they just squint at us all suspicious-like. Or reach for a pistol.
You're awful quick to trust a bunch of strangers that broke into your home.
I'm looking for someone rough around the edges. A gorgeous, dashing scoundrel type. Incidentally, someone good with their hands.
How likely am I to wind up like your old freelancer?
The man lost an arm. What are the odds of that happening twice? Of course, Gorgon is a treacherous place, and my own family's involvement with it has been fraught. Allow me to lay out the facts, and you can decide for yourself if you want to be my chief investigator. My mother, Dr. Olivia Ambrose, worked for Spacer's Choice at the Gorgon Research Facility. She was brilliant, the top scientist in her field, until tragedy struck.
Not surprised. Spacer's Choice is one big accident waiting to happen.
I wish I could say otherwise. One day, Spacer's Choice shut down all research and evacuated Gorgon. Everyone had to scramble or risk getting left behind. It was chaos. Employees fled for their lives. Mother never made it home. I'm told she wasn't the only casualty that fateful day. Mother's name has since been dragged through the mud. Spacer's Choice blames her for the collapse of Project Gorgon, and I just know they're lying.
What did they say about her?
Everything you can imagine and more. Dereliction of duty, circulating anti-corporate memos, taking longer than average coffee breaks. The list goes on. Mother would not have allowed Project Gorgon to fail. Something happened on that asteroid, and my family took the fall for it.
What do you think happened on Gorgon?
I don't know, and Spacer's Choice won't say. They don't discuss anything that tarnishes their brand. Gorgon has a dark history. The project fell apart. Personnel were shuffled across the system. With Mother gone, now I'm all that's left.
Where's your father in all this?
Father lost more than his job on Gorgon. I'll say no more than that. The asteroid may look like a glittering jewel, but I assure you the resemblance ends there. Gorgon is poisonous to the core. One might even say cursed.
Tell me about your mother.
I admired Mother, but we weren't close. She disapproved of everything about me, really. I couldn't measure up to her example. She didn't make time for us. I remember thinking that she never wanted a child, and never forgave me for being one, naive and irresponsible as I was.
Maybe there's another side of that.
No doubt. I only wish Mother was here to tell it in her own words. Mother worked herself to the bone. She wanted to make the colony a better place, no matter who or what got sacrificed along the way. She never spared a thought for those of us who cherished her, who suffered for her idea of progress.
Did you two ever get along?
We got close once. When I was a child, I enjoyed looking over Mother's shoulder, playing backseat chemist while she peered into a microscope. One day, she told me to leave before I broke something. Then, I got mad and broke something. Typical night in the Ambrose house. Mother and Gorgon were made for each other. I had the misfortune to be stuck in the middle. I need your help, Captain. Project Gorgon killed Mother and disgraced the Ambrose name, and no one has been held accountable. Spacer's Choice buried the past like a dirty secret.
Are you interested in justice, revenge, or both?
Neither. It's vindication I want. Whatever happened on Gorgon wasn't Mother's fault. I simply need the evidence to prove it. We're going to drag the truth kicking and screaming into the light. Even if it means bringing ruin and humiliation to Spacer's Choice. All the evidence I need should be in Mother's journal. You can find it in her office on Gorgon, in the heart of the old research facility.
First, I have some...
I'm not surprised. Between the family drama and the corporate conspiracy, it must feel like you've stepped on a landmine. Speak freely, Captain.
How did this investigation get Lucky killed?
You know as much as I do, I'm afraid. Spacer's Choice abandoned Gorgon, but the asteroid is far from unoccupied. Between the marauders, the wildlife, and whatever escaped the labs, danger abounds.
What kind of wildlife are we talking about?
Your guess is as good as mine. I know that Spacer's Choice bred canids, especially for Gorgon. They were supposed to act as living cattle prods. By now, they've probably gone feral. Just watch yourself. If you aren't careful, you stand to lose more than an arm.
Why did you wait before starting the investigation?
I didn't want to go anywhere near Gorgon. Once I exhausted all my options, the search led me back here. I even had Mother declared legally dead. Would you believe it took 5 years to process the paperwork?
Does her being legally dead help you somehow?
It isn't as bad as you make it sound, but technically, yes. Mother's body is still on Gorgon. No body means no death certificate. which means no inheritance. I killed Mother, just on paper, of course, so I could claim my inheritance. We wouldn't be standing here if I didn't have access to the family fortune. I once assumed the mansion and the money would be enough to redeem the Ambrose name. But even in Byzantium, prestige must be earned, and it can so easily be lost.
Are you saying you just want to break into high society?
Break back into high society, yes.
Same high society that framed your mother?
I have Spacer's Choice to thank for that. The smear campaign against Mother was the work of cowards. I'm vindicating the family name for her, for the colony, and for my future.
What can you do for Halcyon?
At the very least, I can guarantee that we learn from our mistakes. A failure on the scale of Project Gorgon should never be allowed to happen. This colony is in trouble. The lunatics at Spacer's Choice are running the asylum, and we need better people to wield their influence. After Gorgon, I quickly discovered that the Ambrose name was cursed, for lack of a better term. I had no place among the decision makers. No seat at the table. That is why I'm clearing the record and vindicating the Ambrose line. For Mother, for me, and for the generations who will one day inherit Halcyon.
What you propose could put both of us in danger.
I'm counting on it.
What good is your mother's journal to you now?
I suspect it will prove that corporate greed and incompetence were to blame for the calamity at Gorgon, and not Mother. Mother was a brilliant woman. Difficult, cold, unreachable even, but brilliant.
Could Spacer's Choice have taken the journal?
Spacer's Choice evacuated in a hurry, leaving a fortune's worth of equipment in their wake. Mother's journal would have escaped their notice. This is my last hope of redeeming the Ambrose name. I don't like my chances, but I have to try. And I need help. Your help. I believe that covers it all. Are you ready to get started? We mustn't allow the trail to get cold.
Don't worry. Spacer's Choice is hiding something. I'll get to the bottom of it.
I believe you're the first person to ever side with me against the corporation. It's a refreshing change. When you reach Gorgon, pack a weapon you trust. The corporate lockdown hasn't stopped the wilderness from squirming in through the cracks.
What did you tell Lucky about the job?
I told him everything I've told you. Just the facts. Maybe a couple of harmless embellishments. Why?
I'm trying to calculate the odds of this gig getting me killed.
It's sure to be 100% with that attitude. Still, you're smart to ask. Lucky spent most of our time together spinning a pistol around his index finger. Not sure he listened to any of my advice.
More bravado than talent, huh? I know the type.
He had an aura of rugged individualism that was quite charming. Not that it helped him in the end. But you won't let me down, will you, Captain?
What can I expect to face on Gorgon?
I've never understood why, but Gorgon is teeming with marauders. They almost seem drawn to sorrow and misfortune. Then there's the test subjects, those who survived anyway. Ravenous creatures left behind like so much salvage.
The more I hear about this asteroid, the worse it sounds.
Perhaps we should cut the Q&A short in that case. I don't want you having second thoughts. There's a little saloon near Gorgon's landing pad, the Sprat Shack. Lucky was renting a room, so if you want to follow his trail, that would be the place to start.
The Sprat Shack? Hope they don't serve real sprats. There's a sprat worst place on the Groundbreaker. Tried it once, and I was sick for a week.
Ought to stop in and taste the local flavor.
Just so we understand each other, money is no object. I'm willing to squander the family fortune if you get me what I want. Between your payment and any salvage you happen across, you'll walk away from this rich enough to buy a mansion of your own. How does that sound?
What's the catch? There's always a catch.
The catch? No one's ever done this before, and the only person who tried is a corpse. Believe me, that's enough. Here's your nav key, Captain. Safe travels.
Maybe you don't need to hear this from me, but I'm sorry about your mother.
Spacer's Choice should be the one apologizing, but Thank you. Sincerely. A word of advice before you go, Captain. Trust no one. Mother's office is in the heart of the Gorgon facility. You're free to salvage anything that isn't nailed down. I only want what's mine.
Salvage rights and a paycheck? This is almost too good to be true.
Hey boss, what's our policy on getting to know our clients a little better? You think she'd appreciate some company? All right. I can do this. Here goes. Miss Ambrose? Must get awful lonesome up here all by yourself. What do you do for fun? Cause, if you're interested, I've got the full set of Terran Monarch.
The last thing I need in my life is more corporate propaganda masquerading as entertainment.
I wanted to give Felix some time off if he wanted to watch it together.
That won't be necessary. Besides, don't you need your crew on hand?
Meaning he's trying to throw.
He is? Oh dear. It's been a while and I'm out of practice. You seem very nice. And very pretty. And I'm sure there's a wealthy heiress out there who would be extremely lucky to run away with you. Alas, it isn't me. Are we in agreement?
Hey, no problem. I figured it was worth a shot at least.
Forgive the mess. I'm still unpacking and everything's covered in dust. Be sure and close the...
Like, he's flirting. A fucking janitor.
Structural damage detected. Structural damage. Mirror.
That fool's fucked up down there.
We are now in orbit above Gorgon.
I hope we can help Miss Minnie uncover what happened to her mother. I wouldn't wish the pain of not knowing on hardly anyone.
Looked around the Unreliable. Ever find any record of Lucky Montoya?
Not a word. And I've been sticking my nose in every one of our stately ladies' crannies, stem to stern. Oh, law. That sounds untoward, don't it? That ain't what I meant. Point is, Captain, Mr. Hawthorne left all kinds of scribblings behind panels and under consoles, but ain't a lick of it mentioned Mr. Lucky. So whatever they got up to in the past must have been really extra secret. And lots of fun.
Let me know if you find anything.
Sure thing, Captain.
How you feeling about the job right
I don't want to be mean, Captain, but I can't help wondering if Miss Minnie is telling us the whole story about Gorgon. Her mother worked there for years and years, and she doesn't know hardly the first thing about it? It seems fishy. And in the serials, mysteries always got a twist.
What do you think this one's gonna be?
Well, Virginia Yang, that girl detective, she'd say to check your theories at the door. Just look at the facts and follow the clues. Me? I just want to fix what's been broke.
Well, here we... Hey, is that a saloon? I feel better already.
What's that sound? A fucking force field around us and shit. Oh, there's fucking a ramp over there and shit.
Not a peep from me.
Oh shit, there's someone here.
You looking for supply, stranger? Let's stock up here. If you run low on bullets out in Gorgon's far reaches, there ain't no one round here liable to help you out. Let me know if you're looking for something particular.
I take it that evacuation alarm isn't urgent.
Huh? Oh, you don't gotta worry about that. It's got something to do with that scrapped Spacer's Choice project from way back. Damn alarm's been hollering at us for 5 years if it's been a day. You know, I don't dream anymore. It's all, please evacuate in an orderly fashion.
Did you forget how to walk, or are you too dumb to think to stand anywhere else? What if you moved away from the insistent alarm?
Folks coming and going pass right by me here. It's the ideal spot to do business. Apart from the obvious. And there ain't much I can do to shut that control terminal down. I know, 'cause even Von Hoffman couldn't bash it in. And I seen that tough son of a gun throw man clean across the Sprat Shack one time like he were a toss ball. Found a pickaxe in the mine like none I've ever seen before. Could be awful useful if you're the violent type.
He ain't gonna need that. Yeah, I see shit. Where's that alarm coming from?
This place is starting to remind me of home.
This unit is currently in wait cycle. Please return later. Error. Tilt alarm engaged. Entering emergency reconciliation mode. Please do not kick this unit. It has not been programmed to wish you harm. This unit is currently in wait cycle. Please return. Have a better than natural day.
Attacking!
Here we go! Here goes nothing!
What the fuck? That motherfucker's strong as fuck. The other dude especially, bro. I ain't going that way. Why am I going that way? I don't know what the fuck he just shot me with. That shit wasn't nice. Hack 150, 12. Yo, that shit goes up. The big guy Corey's messaging my person looking for answers, mostly not. Good fellow. I don't understand how you managed to log 3 times the number of shipments I do out of the mission shack. Calling offers. How much money do I even got? I got like 9,000, but Jesus, that shit costs so much. My hack ain't even up there like that, bro. I'm gonna end up having to pay that. Alright, we're in this Sprat Shack, cause that shit's infested with sprats and shit.
Come here. Let's have a chat. All right, inspection time. Look at my eyes for as long as you can without blinking.
starting now. Good. Look up. Now look down. You're doing swell. Now, name and occupation. I could do without the sass, but that's good enough. You're cleared. That was a sanity check. If you had changed like the others, it'd be in your eyes. You'd also be drooling, cursing, and making a mess of the place. Welcome to the Sprat Shack. You can head on downstairs.
What do you mean when you said people had changed?
Every day, salvagers and scrappers set out to comb the ruins and make their fortune. The ones who come back, they aren't always the same men or women who left. They change. Never for the better.
What happens when people change?
First, they get real twitchy and paranoid, shouting at folks who aren't there. Then they smell like they soiled themselves, on account of how they soiled themselves. After that, they're gone. Nothing but animals wearing human skin. Seen it happen myself. It's never pretty.
What exactly am I?
This is the Sprat Shack, the most remote watering hole in the system. Rule number 1, no fighting. Rule number 2, wipe your feet on the way downstairs. We're the only hospitable place on this rock. I want to keep it that way. That's why we have rule number 3. When people change, they stay outside, where they belong.
Let me ask you something else.
Just don't ask me to dance.
What do you know about Gorgon?
Something bad happened here. Spacer's Choice was developing chemicals. The kind with nasty side effects. Marauders outnumber the rest of us 10 to 1. Either they came from Gorgon, or something draws them here. I don't know which is worse. This place is under a dark cloud, stranger. That's all I know. If you want the history of the Sprat Shack, talk to Lex behind the bar.
What kind of people come to the Sprat Shack?
This is a sublight bar, so most of our regulars come to plunder the old labs. The facility's locked up behind miles of red tape, so progress is slow. A lot of time to drink and reevaluate, then venture out and try again.
What do you do around here?
Bouncer, bodyguard, law enforcer. I make sure the Sprat Shack gets only the highest caliber of clientele.
That's us.
Well, I hope you look the other way.
We get a lot of If you're heading down...
Yeah. Look at this Sprat.
Oh, ugh. This place smells like Felix's birth.
It was age since I had a good trip of kale. Hope they've got it on tap.
Bless you, baby. Alright.
Welcome.
Whiskey, I'm feeling refined.
Bottoms up. I assume you're here for salvage.
Sure, got any leads?
Even if I did, I ain't supposed to play favorites. Most of my regulars are sublight scavengers. They pick over the ruins of Gorgon, spend their earnings at the bar, and head back out the next day. Vicious cycle, but that's life. You're the first new face I've seen in a while.
You know anyone by the name of Lucky Montoya?
Lucky? Sure, I knew him. He could get a little dramatic at times, but he was a good guy. Heard he took on a dangerous job. Spent a lot of time coming and going from the Office of Creative Incubation, just down the road.
Office of Creative Incubation?
That's where the top rungers at Spacer's Choice came up with slogans of marketing. Lucky never told me why it was so important. Awful shame about what happened to him.
What
You
happened?
really want to hear my story? Law, most everyone around here is sick to death of it by now. Last I saw of Lucky was a few days ago. I went outside for a smoke and a stroll, and I saw this wild canid dragging a bloody limb. So I kicked the canid, scared it off. Get this. The canid was chewing on an honest-to-law human arm. Lucky's arm.
How'd you know it belonged to Lucky?
I'm a bartender. Attention to detail is my middle name. Anyway, the arm was clutching a phonograph that mentioned someone named Alex Hawthorne. I did some poking around, and this Hawthorne has a reputation among the salvagers who frequent the bar. So I packaged up the arm nice and tidy and sent it care of the Halcyon Parcel Service. They even gave me a discount on the hazardous waste removal stamp.
Why bother sending the arm at all?
I figured Hawthorne would want to know what happened to his pal. Help Lucky get his affairs in order, you know. Oh, I hate to see people go with unfinished business.
The arm made it to me. I'm Hawthorne, next of kin, sort of.
No kidding. And now you're here? Colony feels smaller than you'd think some days. I'm glad I was here to see this confluence of events, you know? The stars really aligned on this one. And here I am, smack dab in the middle.
Where was Lucky staying?
3rd floor. Once I figured he wasn't coming back to pay his tab, I left his room unlocked to air it out. You can help yourself to anything you left behind. Fair warning, I've been letting the regulars use it for a quick lie down. Just wash your hands when you're done. Trust me.
I didn't know. What do you know about Gorgon?
Spacer's Choice used to brew pharmaceuticals in these parts. That's why the asteroid smells like an old gym sock. They say Adrenatime came from here, just down the road at the old R&D lab. Very hush-hush back in the day.
Any idea what Spicer's Choice shut down Gorgon?
I doubt anyone knows the full story. One day the evacuation order went out. Grunts and lab coats scrambled to get anywhere but Gorgon. And the weirdest thing of all, Adrenatime still hit the market. Me, I never touched the stuff. To each their own, but I think it's dangerous.
Would any of your regulars have more information about Gorgon?
Roscoe might tell you more. He spent some time around here before the bar opened up. And I trust him well enough. There's always Leonora, my favorite customer over in the storage room on the 2nd floor. Keeps to herself and always closes out her tab.
What's Roscoe's story?
He's been here since opening day. I think he told me he was some kind of journalist. He got left behind when Spacer's Choice pulled out. And I guess no one's coming to get him.
Why'd he get left behind?
He didn't tell me and I didn't ask. I'm his bartender, not his human resources rep. If you believe the chatter, a lot of good folks got left behind, and a lot of bad folks made it out. Sometimes that's all there is to it.
Poor bastard, you looking out for him?
Roscoe's drinks are on the house. We all know how it feels to get left behind. He'll be all right. He's with the family now, and we take care of our own.
What can you tell me about Leonora?
Nice lady. Been coming around a lot these past few months. She isn't with Sublight, but seems to know the lay of the land better than anyone. She spends most of her days drinking alone. I think she's looking to hire someone. If you're open to a side gig.
Do you know if she spoke with Lucky Montoya?
Now that you mention it, I thought I saw those two sharing stories over a pint. Didn't think twice about it. I don't speak ill of the dead, but Leonora deserves better company. That Lucky was no good for her.
Thanks for the
What
tip.
are friends for, eh?
Scavengers must be making a fortune off
Damn right
Gorgon.
we are. We've got drugs, scrap metal, prototype weapons, drugs, money, and more drugs. When Spacer's Choice evacuated, everyone dropped their gear and ran. Most of it stayed where it fell, and all of it is up for grabs. Of course, the real treasure is whatever's locked up in the old facility. Until someone figures a way to crack it open. We're just sifting through dirt. You got it, bub.
So you run this place?
Yes and no. The Sprat Shack used to be a shipping and receiving warehouse during the old Project Gorgon days. When Spacer's Choice pulled their guys off-world, Sublight moved in to salvage what we could, and they put me in charge.
So Sublight owns the Sprat Shack now?
Yes and no. Rumor has it there's a Sprat wandering around the Groundbreaker, and he's the legal owner of the Sprat Shack. Hagen's idea.
Yeah, that's why Sprat owns the bar.
See, Hagen didn't want a paper trail that led back to her, so she gave the bar to the Sprat. If there were any legal problems with this place, the Sprat would do the time.
You think a Sprat could own Edgewater? Oh, imagine one wearing Mr. Thompson's little hat!
Anyway, that's what the paperwork says. I don't make the rules.
How do you even know which spot is the right one?
Easy. His name's Matt. The beautiful thing is, no one could tell Matt Sprat apart from an ordinary vermin. I think that's kind of the point, to send the authorities on a wild Sprat chase.
Guess I'll try not to step on him if I happen by a groundbreaker.
I wouldn't lose any sleep over it. The Sprat Shack's gone through a lot of title holders over the years. As far as business arrangements go, this one's a head-scratcher, but they say it's all above board, so that's what matters.
Does Spacer's Choice mind that you're squatting
Yes
in their
and no.
warehouse?
We're doing a lot more than squatting. We're classing up the joint, keeping the riffraff outside where it belongs. They didn't even serve drinks until I arrived. Talk about wasted potential.
Can you answer my question without starting with yes or no?
Yes. And no. Again, that one was Hagen's idea. She told me that speaking in vague terms keeps you out of trouble. And I don't want any trouble in my place.
How do you get supplies in and out?
Thirsty people come and go from all over the colony. Mostly on the way to somewhere better. Some are well connected. And not everyone pays with bits. That's how we get the unconventional goods anyhow. Sublight keeps us well stocked with the essentials, by which I mean booze.
Gonna look around.
Be seeing you.
Oh my, where the hell is the freaking marker at?
You think the folks here like strangers? Because some of them are looking at us like maybe not.
The repurposed aesthetic reminds me of Fallbrook. These...
Huh, who's this now? Wonder if they could... Nah, who am I kidding?
There's Roscoe over there.
What have you got there?
Adrena time.
Come on, lockpicking needs to be more higher. Spacer's Choice might have left in a hurry, but they didn't forget to lock the doors on their way out. Most of the facilities are sealed up tighter than a top runger safe. Time to do some digging. Caught a break today. Met a scavenger claims to be a salesman for Spacer's Choice. Sold me a key to the office of creative incubation. Let's just say this guy's not as lucid as a Sprat in Rizzle's factory, but I'm spending Minnie's bits so I can afford to take a chance. I worked. Clearance mostly. Whoever you are, I'm drinking to you tonight. Olivia Ambrose office in journal ought to be synthesis manufacturing center. The bad news is sealed up and to the ass end of Canyon. The good news is should be able to open it from the Bigwigs admin terminal in OCI. Day 13. OCI is crawling with marauders and I've got a few other leads to chase down. Could be nothing, but my gut tells me there's more to this place than a missing journal. Time to turn over a few rocks and see what crawls out. I'm leaving the OCI in the safe. The combo is 8415. Why you just write that?
Think they stick the preservative in before or after the eye comes out?
I really hope this ain't a sign of things to come.
So, how you feeling?
Good. Real good, like someone's shining a light behind my eyes.
Got any more of
Shine,
that stuff?
someone shine.
Oh yeah, plenty of it. Next round's on me.
So yeah, plenty of it. What's up, motherfucker?
Holy shit, a fresh face. Haven't seen your like in years. Don't know what brought you to the most dangerous corner of this solar system, pal, but you're welcome here. Oh, you talked to Lex yet? She tell you to keep it civil? You wouldn't guess to talk to her, but that lady's got a mean left hook.
I talked to her. She mentioned you were some kind of journalist.
Some kind. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Got into reporting thinking I was gonna be some sort of public intellectual. What a joke. Spent 95% of my time playing stenographer to the board, and the rest writing puff pieces on the chairman's latest beard trim. Real life and death shit.
You seem like you're having a rough time. Can I help you out?
If you're going back out there, do you think you'd be willing to do an old bastard a small favor?
Helping out old bastards is 80% of my job. What do you need?
You know, that reminds me. I don't think you've ever actually paid me.
Well, I've been trying to get away from this rock for 5 lobby-fucked years, but I can't stay gone. I was doing an interview series for Spacer's Choice. Recorded them all on these little portable phonographs. But when everything fell to shit, Spacer's Choice wouldn't let me leave. Terms of my reporting contract unmet, they said.
You hit them and now you need me to get them for you. That about cover it?
Right on the money. Look at me, I'm no fighter. I've never even touched a gun. But you're just the right amount of rough around the edges. Help me get my recordings back so I can finally get the hell out of here.
Why stash the recordings?
Someone had been trying to steal them since the day my assistant and I started interviewing. Couldn't even keep them in my safe. They always found a way in. So I took to hiding them all over the fucking asteroid. Thought I was so clever. What a fool I was.
Why not just forget the contract and leave?
Oh, I've tried. Make no mistake. I've caught a couple of rides out with Sublight folks. But the board's fixers always send me right back. And I'm not about to stand toe-to-toe with marauders just to fulfill a line item on a contract.
Oh, fuck. I'm trying to hit that assistant dialogue one. I hate that about this game sometimes. Alright, it's your lucky day, Roscoe. I'll get those recordings for you.
No shit? That's downright civilized of you. Alright. One of them I stashed in the Office of Creative Incubation, in the projector room on the 3rd floor. I gave another to my friend Birdie to keep in her apartment, just outside OCI's upper entrance.
Alright, got it. Next.
You'll find another in the chem lab. It's in the main lab storage room.
Alright, easy enough. The others?
The final one is in human inquiry and auditing. It's tucked behind a pipe in observation room B.
Observation room? Wouldn't someone have seen you?
What with the test subjects running loose, the researchers were surprisingly unobservant.
Got it, I'll be back.
Strength to your sword arm, friend. And thank you.
What's the story with this place anyhow?
Used to be a shipping warehouse. Supplies...
Is that everyone? The bar patron. Wasn't there like one more chick? I was thinking about just talking to her. But this guy too, man. This guy freaking just...
Jerome would have loved this place.
I don't know.
Yep. You've got the look of someone who's traveled far to get here and whose journey's far from over.
I could say the same about you.
Not me. I'm right back where I started, and the end is almost in sight. Listen to me, being all vague and mysterious. I don't know if you're bound for the old ruins, but in case you are, can you look into something? I'd do it myself, but of course, the marauders would eat me alive.
I bet you could stand your ground.
Not for long. Looking for something out there. Been paying Sublight to help me, but they haven't made much progress.
Sublight wouldn't turn over a rock unless there was salvage underneath it.
Well put. My husband and I worked on Gorgon during the good times. Jerome was on maintenance duty. I cleaned out test tubes till they sparkled.
Okay, where's Jerome now?
Nowhere good, that's for sure. In his final hours, Gorgon was a war zone. Violence broke out in the labs. The hills were full of marauders. You couldn't take a leisurely stroll without an armed escort. When the order came through to evacuate, non-essential personnel drew a lottery to see who would board the first wave of ships. Jerome won. I lost. As soon as I wasn't looking, Jerome switched our tickets and pushed me to the front of the line. I got to leave. Jerome stayed behind. I never saw him again.
Let me guess, now you're here to find him.
You're a quick study. This place is greedy. Took my Jerome, and it would have taken me too. I just want one thing back. His old hip flask. I gave it to him the day we signed our marriage contract, and he carried it wherever he went. I know it's still here.
What do you think happened to Jerome?
No point in denying it, he died on this rock. Likely torn apart by marauders, unless he took care of himself on his own terms. I don't like to imagine what happened, but I know I have to accept it.
Keep an eye out for that flask.
You'd really do that for me? Law, and I'll bet you're worth 10 of those sublight sprats. I don't have much, but if you help me, there's a little set aside for the occasion. Jerome used to drink with his buddies in a small kitchen opposite the maintenance shed. Might be a good place to check first.
I want to ask you something else first.
Yeah?
Did you know Lucky Montoya?
That old flirt? Yeah, I let him buy me a drink or two. He talked my ear off about exciting jobs he'd done. All lies, I'm sure. He fell asleep with his head on my shoulder. That man had baggage like you wouldn't believe. I didn't think anyone could be lonelier than me.
Was he depressed?
He put on quite a front, but I think he was weary. Like he'd seen too much and had too little to show for it. Guess we were kindred spirits in a way.
Did he mention anything about a Gorgon research
He
facility?
bragged about having the key to some sort of maintenance area in one of the old buildings. I never saw it, so I just assumed he was talking himself up. He also asked if I wanted to see something gross and slimy he kept in his room, but I declined, politely.
That's all. Thanks for your time.
Sure thing. My condolences if you two were close.
Tell me about your time on Gorgon.
The lab coats kept quiet about the project, but the air was charged with excitement. You could feel it wherever you went. I wanted to change the world. A tenfold boost to worker productivity with no side effects? Who wouldn't salivate at the thought? I don't know what went wrong, but when the shit hit the fan, it sprayed everyone in its path, including me.
He's seeing you. So it's probably that makes people change and shit.
You're a humbug, Trixie, and worse, a thief.
I can't steal what's lawfully mine, you tangle-footed dimwit.
Break it up, you two. I've heard more than enough of your shit for one day.
That was my salvage, Trixie. You had no right to it then, and you've no right to it now.
Savage, you say?
Don't you be getting any ideas.
I risked my life sneaking around marauders to claim that wreck. And I didn't see your name on it.
Now you've done it. Eat fist!
All right, that's enough! This is a family establishment! You want to make a mess? You make it outside!
But this was personal, Lex. It's a question of salvage. That wreck was gonna make me a fortune.
You get a lot of tavern squabbles around here?
Ah, it's the same fight every day. 5 years we've been at this, and we still can't agree on how to properly tag salvage. Now you two listen, this is my place. While you're in the Sprat Shack, you'll sit quietly, or I'll forbid you to come here at all. Is that understood?
Here, here. Bars are for drinking. The poor decisions that result are better left outside.
Fair's fair. I'll have a stout, and we'll settle this later on our own terms.
It's no good to leave a fight unresolved. If I don't do something, these two are gonna be at each other's throats. Would you do me a favor and weigh in as a third party? I can use an unbiased set of eyes on the problem, and an outsider like you fits the bill.
You want me to decide their drunken argument?
If you wouldn't mind.
Why not just get von Hoffman?
This isn't von Hoffman material. Calling up von Hoffman would be like swatting a fly with a sledgehammer.
Fine, I'll get a whirl.
Freddy, Trixie, go on and make your case to the generous stranger.
I'll start, seeing as I'm the one who's been most wronged in this equation.
State your names for the tavern.
Oh, very formal. Freddy the Scab, freelancer for sublight salvage and shipping, same as my father before me.
Junkyard Trixie, also a salvage freelancer, though I've been at it longer than Freddy.
So, just up the road and due east of here, there's a shipwreck lodged in the mountainside, right? I staked my claim on that wreck. Then I wandered in for a drink. An hour later, Trixie swaggers in bragging about her salvage. Ugh, the nerve of some people.
How do you mark the claim?
I climbed on top of it and called out in my loudest voice, "Finders keepers!"
Is that legal?
I don't know about legal, but it's legit by sublight standards. Assuming anyone was around to hear it, which we can't know for sure.
Someone must have heard me. They just ain't brave enough to step forward and admit it.
The case isn't winning me over so far, Freddy.
What if I were to sweeten the deal? Say the salvage is mine, and I'll give you a share of the finder's fee.
Bullshit. That ain't fair.
Bribing the judge? Interesting. I rule in Trixie's favor.
When I found the shipwreck, there were no salvage mark. See, the whole area was teeming with bloodthirsty marauders. So I snuck around and added my tag, clear as day so no drunken idiots could claim the salvage out from under me, Freddy.
For the record, when I heard the marauders coming, I left. Trixie must have set her mark down after me.
Drum your fingers thoughtfully.
Quit leading the prosecution, Hullhead. Anyway, that's my story, sir.
What mark did you leave on the salvage, Trixie?
I drew next in the dirt, with my toe.
Couldn't the marauders have walked over it by now, or the wind blown it away?
Wouldn't surprise me in the least, but that doesn't mean it ain't mine.
In all my years, I've never heard a more contentious argument. I don't envy your shoulders for bearing the weight of responsibility. You've heard it from them both. So, who gets the salvage?
These idiots don't know how to attack salvage, so I rule in no one's favor.
That ain't no kind of fair.
He ain't even from around here, Lex.
Here's a 6-pack on the house, plus your fee. Maybe now we'll finally get some peace around here for a change.
Does this happen often?
A little too often if you ask me, but that's the sublight way. Anything worth doing is worth fighting over.
Glad to be of service. See you around.
Come and chat if you're ever feeling thirsty.
That's my captain.
Smooth. Gonna puke. No, it went down. False alarm.
No, it went down. False alarm. Let's fucking end this walkthrough, right?
I've eaten my fair share of tarot eyes, but I'm still gonna come out and say it. This mission is gross.
You think this place we're headed will tell us more about Gorgon? I wonder what they got up to here. Wonder what Junlei's up to.
Alright, mi gente. Well, that concludes the end of this walkthrough with your boy Mugen on this fantastic adventure in the outer worlds, man. We're exploring Gorgon, and when we pick off next episode, man, we're gonna continue and see if we can finish this mystery so we can go to the next DLC. It's your boy Mugen, man, saying peace, man, and we out.